Stage. But here, let me just leave you with one final thought. You heard Kelly and Michael and everybody's talked about this. This is one of, as I know very personally, one of the proudest states for military leadership and military service anywhere in the country. And I know you all are proud of that, and you should be. We've got incredible bases from all across the services. We've got great Marine bases, Army bases, and so forth in the great state of North Carolina. And I know it's such an important part of this state, not just economically, that matters, but set to the side the dollars and cents. You all, raise your hand if you have served in the United States military. Let's give those guys a round of applause. So thank you to all of our veterans, a pretty good chunk of veterans just here in this audience. But here's the thing. You all know that right now we are engaged in a military operation to ensure, as the President has said repeatedly, that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. That is a simple principle and standard. Frankly, every president has taken affirmative steps to ensure that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Now, but we also know that there are a lot of people from the state of North Carolina who are in harm's way right now. And so I want all of us, when we go home, we leave this event, I want all of us to say a prayer, not just for the North Carolinians, but for the people of all of our 50 states who put on the uniform and are willing to sacrifice for the safety and security and freedom of the United States of America. I want every single person, I want you to tell every single person who is serving overseas in harm's way that this crowd in North Carolina has their back. Thank you all. So with that, let me take a few questions from our media, and then I'll have to hit the road here. I'd like to start with the local reporters. We'll get time to the national folks if we got it.
Hi, I'm Danielle Battaglia. I'm with the News and Observer. You've spoken a lot today about Irina Zarutska's death, and that resulted in Operation Charlotte's Web. Senator Thom Tillis has asked a lot from the Department of Homeland Security about what happened with Operation Charlotte's Web. He said his questions are unanswered by DHS, and one of those questions is if American citizens were arrested during Operation Charlotte's Web. I was wondering if you could answer that today.
Well, look, Operation Charlotte's Web is fundamentally an operation to try to make our country safe by getting violent criminals off the streets of the United States of America. Now, I was not aware that Thom Tillis, who's a friend of mine, he and I have had our disagreements, but Thom Tillis and I know each other. I'll go back and offer to speak with Tom about this. I didn't know that he said his questions had been unanswered by DHS. Now, that may be because he asked those questions a week ago and they haven't had time to answer them. You may have seen we've had a little bit of turnover in the Department of Homeland Security. But what I do promise Tom is that the new leadership at DHS is going to get him a response to his questions. But we're going to keep on using the Department of Homeland Security to do the very simple thing of making the homeland more secure. That's why it exists, and we're going to keep on doing that.
Hi, Mr. Vice President. Bill Barrow with the Associated Press. What did you advise the President initially as he considered his actions in Iran, and what are you urging him to do now, especially with Americans seeing higher prices at the pump and some of the fallout from that across the economy? Do you express any concerns like those you've expressed in the past on the possibility of these extended wars?
Well, Bill, I appreciate the question. I know you guys have to ask it, but imagine the situation. We're in the Situation Room where you can't even take your iPod in there, or your AirPods, I guess what they're called. You can't take your iPhone in there. You can't take anything in there because it is the most classified space anywhere in the world. And I sit there with Pete Hegseth and General Kane and Marco Rubio and the entire White House team, and the President and I and the entire senior team are talking about the options and about what we need to do and about how we must best protect the American people. I hate to disappoint you, but I'm not going to show up here and in front of God and everybody else tell you exactly what I said in that classified room, partially because I don't want to go to prison, and partially because I think it's important for the President of the United States to be able to talk to his advisors without those advisors running their mouth to the American media.